your dreams.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Honkai Star Rail video, and today we're going to be talking about Kafka versus Blade. By the way, if you happen to like the content, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It'd be greatly appreciated. I'll take all the support I can get at this point. So either you want to pull for Kafka or Blade is really just going to depend on which playstyle you prefer. If you like damage over time, then Kafka will be the way to go. If you're into a high risk, high reward type of playstyle, then Blade will be perfect for you. However, when it comes to free-to-play options, I do think Kafka will be the better choice for free-to-play, because correct me if I'm wrong, and I might be wrong on this, I don't really have no fucking idea, but damage over time does not crit at all. Damage over time in Star Rail is pretty similar to Overload or Electrocharged or any of the Bloom reactions. They do not crit. So this basically means that you can build Kafka without even worrying about crit on her. All you gotta do is just focus on effect, hit rate, or break, depending on how you want to build her or how many etalons you have on her, or if you have her light cone. However, damage over time does deal more damage depending on how high your level is. So getting Kafka to level 80 along with any other damage over time character to level 80 is going to be very beneficial, but it will be expensive. But it's not like you really have to rush to get to level 80. You'll get there when you get there. Also, Kafka's best characters to pair her with are all 4 stars, whether it's Serval, Sampo, or Hook. Oh, and Luca as well. Luca is also a damage over time character. So because we don't have a 5-star damage over time character, Kafka basically works with the 4 stars that deal damage over time. You really want to use at least 2 or 1 out of the 4 I mentioned to make Kafka's damage over time deal more damage. Sampo is most likely going to be her best option, but if you don't have Sampo, or if you just don't like his bitch ass, you can always just use Serval instead. Serval is free, so everyone should have Serval, and it also leads to a mono electro team. Hook is also another option that you could use. If you have Hook built up, then pairing her with Kafka will be also pretty good. Or if you're just a fan of Luca, you can use Luca along with Kafka as well. A reason why Kafka is so good with damage over time is that she has a passive that basically allows her to do a follow-up attack after an ally does a basic attack, and that follow-up attack basically increases the damage of the damage over time that the enemy has been placed with. Kafka's skill also does the same deal as her follow-up attack, basically deals damage to a single enemy, and if that enemy has a damage over time on them, it basically increases the damage of that damage over time. Kafka's ultimate is an AoE that inflicts the enemy with a damage over time. Overall, she's going to be really good in damage over time, and if you're not a fan of damage over time, then she's basically an easy skip. But as I said before, I do think she's going to be a pretty good choice for free-to-plays, since damage over time does not crit. You don't have to worry about building crit on Kafka. Now, you don't need to put Kafka in a damage over time team. It is your game. It is a single player game. Who the fuck cares who you play her with? But she is going to excel in damage over time teams. If you just want to play her as like a sub DPS with like other characters, then you can do that too. Anyways, let's talk about Blade. Blade, as I said before, is a high risk, high reward character. He's basically going to be sacrificing his HP in order for him to deal damage. Very risky in a turn-based game. If the enemy AI decided to, if they all decided to gangbang on Blade, then he would basically be fucked on all sides. But he does have like his own chance to restore his HP. Basically, how his kit works is when you use his skill, he enters a mode called Hellscape mode, which does sound pretty badass. And this Hellscape mode basically increases his basic attack. Now, his skill doesn't take up a turn, so you can basically use his skill and do a basic attack. Oh, and by the way, whenever he enters the Hellscape mode, he does lose HP. Also, whenever he does a basic attack while in Hellscape mode, he will lose 10% of his HP. His passive is basically whenever he loses HP or takes damage, he gets a stack, a max of 5 stacks, and once he gets 5 stacks, he basically unleashes a follow-up attack on all enemies, dealing wind damage, and it also restores his HP, so you don't have to worry about him dying. His ultimate is him losing 50% of his HP, dealing single target damage to an enemy. This damage is calculated on how much Blade has lost HP during that turn, so the more HP he loses, the more damage his ultimate will do. His kit is pretty cool and his animations look pretty dope. Now, the problem with Blade, and I say problem pretty loosely because it's a single player game, is that his best partner is going to be a 5-star character, that 5-star character being Luocha. If you don't know how Luocha works, he basically restores HP to an ally if their HP gets to 50% or lower, which is a pretty good partner for Blade, since Blade is going to be losing HP half of the time. Now, as I said earlier, you don't need Luocha with Blade, but it will benefit you a lot. You can use other healers with Blade, and not to mention Blade does restore his own HP through his stacks passive. Luocha's healing is just so good because his healing basically automatically does it without even costing any skill points. And if Blade really is going to be on the first half of 1.2, you're either going to have to be very lucky or you're just going to have to get that credit card, but it's not 100% certain. Blade could be on the second half for all we know. Also, since Blade is like a generic DPS character, you do need to build him with crit rate and crit damage. So I don't think he's going to be as free-to-play friendly as Kafka, because for one, he needs like a 5-star healer for him to be more effective, and number 2, he does need crit rate and crit damage. But if you are a big fan of Bladey, then, you know, go all out for him. He does seem pretty cool. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents about these 2 characters. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye now. Come again soon.